Hi there, thanks for tuning in. I'm Roman, welcome to my anime report. Today we'll be talking about the first episode of, what is it? I'm the Villainess, so I'm taming the final boss. This will be the first anime I've talked about that's from the fall 2022 season. Let's jump right in. This first episode opens with fancy orchestral music and an oversaturated ballroom with men and women in colorful fancy outfits. This is setting off red flags for some reason, and maybe that the show doesn't take itself too seriously. Suddenly, a blue flower falls to the floor, then a woman to her knees moments after. A man proclaims, Aline Lauren de Artre, our engagement is officially dissolved. The woman thinks to herself, pardon me? The camera spins around the room, blurring in and out of focus. We see the various reactions of other attendees. This woman remains motionless, it's as though we're seeing her head spin. She thinks to herself, it cannot be. But somehow, I've anticipated this. Images pass through her mind. Most intriguing to me is that of a man in a dark cloak with long black hair. Then cut to, a hospital room. Oh man, it was a dating sim? It's an isekai? It really had me going there. Straight up went from being 100% in to like 60% in. They've got some ground to make up. But it's still been quite the dramatic roller coaster of emotions. We're only 47 seconds in, folks. Let's keep going. It gets a little bit more intriguing. We see her parents weeping, and then a voice thinks, I've seen this in my dreams. Perhaps this is an isekai where she only vaguely realizes that it is one? She describes the prince, her fiance, crown prince to the Elmire Empire, Cedric Jean Elmire. She thinks to herself, my main romance round. Then she romance round? What does that mean? She tells us of the woman Cedric has left her for, Lilia Renee, who went from a commoner to the first daughter of a baron. She is the game's female lead. Then she thinks, game? Female lead? The prince says, I've had enough of your treachery and arrogance, Eileen. Finally, our narrator's mind is absorbed by the realization. Eileen, that's the female lead's rival. There's like the modern person, there's like the modern personality and the fantasy personality, and they merge at this moment where Cedric basically breaks up with her. And I kind of like how quickly these personalities merge and become one, and how quickly it's not like the modern personality completely subsumes the fantasy one. They're clearly merged. She confidently proclaims, as you seem uninterested in my opinion, I'll simply take my leave. I regret that I couldn't cry and make a scene as you so clearly wish to see me do. We hear her think, smile, don't cry, don't let him feel superior to you. This is so good. Look how shook the prince is by her words. Oh my god. And then she does a curtsy and says, Sir Cedric, I really did adore you. Oh my god. Look, he's shook all over again with a completely different emotion. Then she walks out of there confidently. Oh my god. She thinks to herself, I know at the end of all of this, I'm going to die at the hands of the demon lord. I guess I just have to stop him from awakening. I'll have to tame the final boss. It's a little cheesy, not gonna lie. They did the thing where they said the name. Oh my god. Then the intro rolls. I have some mixed feelings. First of all, it's super dramatic and I love it, but I'm a little worried about the isekai tropes, I'm not gonna lie. I could go the rest of my life without seeing another anime that involves a demon lord. Like, there's gotta be so many other crises that you could come up with, but like 90% of fantasy anime have a demon lord. Overall, it's awesome. I'm just a little worried that the tropes are going to start dragging it down. Let's continue, though. All right, after the intro, we cut to her walking through an evil forest. It was a bit quicker than I thought it was going to be. Thought it might take you longer to find the demon lord. She gets all scuffed up walking through the forest. The crows start talking, and like or mocking her that her fiance broke up with her. Like, they literally start talking. And she fires back with, "Is this how you treat your guests?" Which shuts the crows up, but I can't tell if it's because they're like, damn, she's right, or like, damn, what is this lady on? Or a little bit of both. All right, then she finds a door, but she can't open it. Then a voice says, "Let me help." And she says, "Why, thank you." And then a fucking like laser blows up the door. And then she's shook how the tables have turned. Yeah, there's the demon lord. I was kind of confused at this point because I thought he had to awaken or something, but there he is. He's basically like, "What do you want?" And she's like, "So you're Claude Jean Elmer. So he must be related to the king's line." She's like, "I've got an offer you can't refuse. Will you marry me?" Instantly an explosion goes off. He sounds pretty pissed. He's like, "What did you say?" And then she passes out because that's pretty terrifying, I'm not gonna lie. All right, then she wakes up on a couch. She overhears, "All right, the guy, but you weren't angry. You were just very surprised. That's why there was the explosion." Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if you're a reclusive, like, I don't know, wizard or something, and like a lady like confesses to you, you're probably not seeing a lot of action, and that'll make your heart skip a beat. All right, and then we see the demon lord's two right hand. His right and left hand man. We got, listen, you're gonna love this. We got Keith and the demon Beelzebub. Like, well, completely different vibes there. All right, he doesn't seem like he's ready to accept this marriage thing, and he's like worried she could be a spy. Yeah, that sounds pretty reasonable. She finally reveals she's awake and been eavesdropping by saying, "Oh, I'm not a spy." She said she came here of her own accord. We find out this is actually Cedric's half-brother, and he's part demon. And once they found out he was part demon, they're like, "All right, we're cutting you. You are no longer gonna be king, bud, because you're a demon." But because of this, he's basically leader of the demons now, I think. And now they have like a non-aggression pact. Okay. All right. Interesting. However, Eileen knows that if he ever gets super pissed at humanity, he will become like a giant awoken dragon to just destroy everything. That makes sense, I guess. And then she's like, "All right, for real though, will you marry me? I'll make you happy." He requests she be thrown out. Again, reasonable. She's like, "I'll leave the moment you agree." He's like, "I just met you." But then he's like, "Oh wait, are you saying you love me?" And she's like, "No." And then a fucking tornado gets summoned in the room. Yeah, that's a pretty reasonable response. This guy's pretty great. He's like, "I can't believe you'd come here like moments after breaking your engagement off. And you don't even like love me?" So then she pulls out a sword, not looking super reasonable. She says she's aware she's been less than perfect, but what's she supposed to do? Cry? She says, "I refuse to waste even a second of my life." That sounds like the modern half of the personality coming in. It sounds like the words of someone who's been bedridden and now finally isn't and wants to do something, you know? He's like, "So you came to court a demon." He like dissolves her sword, and then she basically realizes she looks like shit because she ran through a fucking like evil forest or something. And then she's like, "Dang, I'll come back when I look better." And he's like, "No need." And he casts prestidigitation and cleans off all her clothes. And she's like, "Wow, a magic dress. I'll treasure it forever." And his heart freaking skips a beat. And it's like, oh, and then the flowers start magically growing next to him. His magic is clearly connected to his emotions. So, what emotion could this be? Love, perhaps? She's like, what is that? What spell is that? And he just teleports her out there. He just goes gate, and she teleports to her bedroom. It's interesting because he clearly could have done that the whole time, but he just kept asking her to leave. and we kept hearing her out though, even though he has like the ability to just teleport this lady out here at any time. She's basically like, you win this round. And then we cut to her getting an invitation from Cedric to a ball to celebrate their engagement. To celebrate his new engagement that's in 2 months. Why was she invited? Well, Cedric wants her to publicly, at this party, sign papers to recant their engagement. What the heck? She basically confirms this is just to mess with her, and the messenger's like, so are you gonna go? And it's like, this is a weird situation, right? Because if you turn it down, like it's like she wouldn't go, but if you go, you got to do this really embarrassing thing. But then she's just like, oh, I'll go, all right. Then we cut to her trying to get back to the demon castle. It seems they've upped security since she was last there and made a magic barrier that you get lost in. She basically bribes one of the crows with a bow tie and saying it's the symbol of a gatekeeper. Look how handsome that boy is. Then she gives him a cookie, which makes him pass out, ending the spell. Sneaky woman. Seems like some of those old villainous tricks from the fantasy self are still in there. I like that. I like the merging of these personalities, not an overcoming of one of the other. She's like, you better give me an audience, Claude, or I'm going to strip this bird bald, feather by feather. She calls it a demon bird also, but come on, that's clearly a magic crow, not a demon bird. He promptly pull up and eats a cookie, and she says she put a love potion in it. Another explosion happens. We cut to we cut to Keith losing his shit because that's hilarious. It's clear that the love potion probably won't have any effect on him because he's already such a magical being. Or maybe she didn't even put one in there. I don't know. She's kind of sneaky. Who can say? She's right. She's now she's in the room. She's like, okay, hey, I gotta go to the ball. You're gonna take me, right? Before he can answer, the crow comes in and is like, hey, one of those magical monster demon cubs escaped and it's going over the school. And everyone's like, shit, what are we gonna do? And she's like, I'll go get it. And then she goes and tries to get it, and it's stuck there in a bear trap with 4 kids beating the crap out of it with a stick. And she's like, hey, you better not kill that thing, because that would break the non-aggression pact and start a war between humans and demons and probably bring on a genocide of some kind. And then they like push her to the ground and they're like, all right, we better kill this thing. Shut up, lady. But then the Cubs' mom shows up and they run away because, yeah, that's reasonable. And then, mission accomplished. The Cub gets out of there with the mama. And then, like, in 0.003 seconds, what is this? Claude shows up again and is like, look at this. He says, I received a report that you would hurt a demon so you could stick it on Lilia. He's like, bullshit. And Lilia's like, yeah, honestly, that does kind of sound like BS to me. And the priest is like, okay, I'll forgive you this time. Like, damn, bro, she ain't do anything. But it really shows you that these two are bitter exes. Before the fantasy personality and the modern personality merged, it's clear that the first fantasy personality was a total conniving bitch. Like, oh my god. But now she's nice. And Claude's really sus of her. Or not Claude. Cedric is, I get those names mixed up. Cedric's still really sus of her, which makes sense. Alright, then they'll start laughing at her, except for presumably Lilia. And then there's a bright light, and oh, it's your boy. And then he thanks Alina for averting a diplomatic crisis when she saved that fucking demon cub. And she's like, dang, he showed up to clear my name. This doesn't benefit him in any way. I'm telling you guys, this demon lord is reasonable and charming. Very nice. And then he's like, all right, let's hop in the whip. And then it starts flying around. And it's like, damn, look at those losers down. They don't say this, but I was thinking that when they showed this shot, I'm like, damn, look at those losers down there. Except for Lilia. She's chill. I kind of had me thinking, though, that Lily and Alina seem to have this thing in common. They're both pining for these brothers that are in these positions of power, and both of them clearly have both of the brothers clearly have emotional problems that are, the demon guy's got like magical emotional powers. That's not good. And the other prince guy has I don't know what you call it. He's emotional. He it's mainly towards Alina that he's got like this crazy mindset. And it seems like it's up to both of these two if they're gonna be reining in these brothers. You know what I'm saying? Just helping them keep a clear head. All right, then we got then the guy's like, hey, you're made it clear you're no ordinary girl. You don't cry. You don't make excuses. You never ask for aid. I don't know. Personally, I don't know if that last one's a good thing. But then he drops a little bomb by saying, but that's also the reason why you don't tell me why you want to marry me. And she's like, you won't believe me. I don't think you'll believe me. And then he's like, let me decide that, which is a great line. I love this guy. All right, then she starts talking about all that crazy shit about this being a game and how Claude is going to kill her when he becomes a dragon. And I mean, that's true, but oh my God, what does this guy think? He doesn't look terribly floored. I mean, a little floored, but not terribly. And then he's like, oh, so you're making fun of me? And it's like, ooh. But then he's like, yeah, I'll go to the ball with you. And it's like, ooh. And then it was all romantic and charming, and he leaves and she's shook. And the episode ends with her wistfully thinking, maybe things will end a little less bad now. Bro, you gotta watch this show. I can't believe I gotta wait a week for the next episode. It's dramatic, it's romantic, it's funny. It's just a freaking good time. Go watch it right now. Anyway, that's it for today's report. I'll see. Oh, I guess, go watch it on Crunchyroll or VRV. Episode 1 is out. The next one, hopefully, it's going to come out sometime next week. That's it for today's report. I will see you guys again next time. That was 20 minutes of recording.